What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Tall podcast, but we are back with Battle Birds podcast. Couldn't do it last week. Both me and Gate were on the road. I'm not sure what Fresh did, but we back, and we still are the best team in football. You know what I mean? Trying to get to our 13th win. We got the Chicago Bears in front of us, a dual threat quarterback in the making himself. They got some injuries at wide receiver, but before we get into it, go ahead and introduce yourselves, starting with the coffee drinker.
Damn, caught me right in the middle of the gulp too, bro. What's up, everybody? My name is Steven Hyder, Gay City Sports Channel, 1/3 of the Battle Birds podcast. And what's good, guys? We about to get this W today.
You're that, you know what it is. You know what it is. Your boy Fully Fresh, aka the General Report for the duty is the day to go 13-1. And I said, I ain't got no crystal ball or nothing, but I think it's gonna happen. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. Let's start with this injury updates for the Eagles. We know the guys who are on IR. We thought there was a chance that Goddard could make this. It looks like Goddard's not being activated. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Goddard's not going to play, which I have no ill will for. Like I said, I'm not trying to discount the Chicago Bears, but at the end of the day, the production that was being received from both Grant Calcaterra and Jack Stahl has been actually a great sight through my eyes. And I think we're good enough as is to beat the Chicago Bears. And it's all about Dallas Goedert being healthy for the long haul. But the Bears, they already lost Darnell Mooney. N'Keal Harry was questionable, and Claypool, their big acquisition from the Steelers, he was ruled out on Friday. Who's he throwing to, guys? Who we got defending in the secondary?
Thomas Brown, I think, is their main target now. Then they have, was it Cole Kmet, I think, is their tight end. I be real with you, this is very, very much in the Eagles' favor in terms of that. I think the thing you got to be careful about, and no, you don't want to get too cocky anytime you play a team, because it's the NFL. Crap can happen. The off-schedule stuff with Justin Fields worries me, right? Is the fact that one-on-one, I'm confident we can cover these dudes, but Justin Fields starts creating outside of the script of the offense on you, and you start coming downhill trying to stop him from scrambling, and then things open up. Of course, that would concern me a little bit with him. I do think there's a little element to his game to that, but, man, this is very favorable. This is a very favorable situation. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, for the fact of the matter is, it's a damn shame what they doing to that boy. Nah, they say it's a damn shame what they did to that dog. Damn shame what they doing to that kid out there, man. He has no weapons at all. It's a shame. I don't even know anybody that has anybody on his team for fantasy except for him. It's really a shame. But at the same time, the Eagles had to take care of business. Pooh-hoo. It's been times we didn't have quarterbacks that have no weapons neither. But the difference is they went out on practice squads, and they went out, and our GM went out and looked for people. You know what I mean? When you talk about the Boston Scotts of the world, you talk about we know those guys. You know what I mean? So to me, if I got to pick and going against this defensive line, which is deeper than the abyss when you really look at it right now, man, I think we got the deepest team in football. People want to talk to me about the 49ers, yada yada yada. No, they top heavy. They got some talent over there. They got some stars over there. I ain't going front. When you talk about 1-3, just like when we went to the Super Bowl in 2017, we had the deepest roster in football, and I think that we had that now. So when you look at the defensive line and you look at Justin Fields, this is who you have to stop. And I trust, yes, I know this is a stretch for me to say, but I trust Jonathan Gannon and defensive line to get it done against him. Now, he's going to have big plays. I don't want people throwing their remote at the TV when he breaks for a 40-yarder and kind of all that kind of stuff. That's going to happen. This kid is special, especially when it comes to his legs. But you win the war by holding him under 100 yards and not letting him get those runs on 30. Obviously. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I think that this team is not built to come back from behind. Yeah, we can hear you. I agree with you, Fresh. He's going to rip off a couple big runs. And honestly, I'm all about the Eagles. Y'all know that, but I am going against LB in the playoffs of the content creator one, and I got Justin Fields and Montgomery, so I wouldn't mind them getting their share of statistical gems, but not in the score area. You know
as
what I mean?
long as it's when our backups are in, Mike. As long as it's when our backups are in.
Yeah. Look, the second half, the Bears are playing against Minshew and the crew. The backups are in. You got like Sean Bradley and the backup linebackers. Go ahead and let them get off then. But I think this Eagles team matches up really good with them. The way we were able to stop the run the last couple of weeks with the new additions is going to pay dividends. But quarterbacks is our Achilles heel. Daniel Jones has got off on us in the last couple of years. Tyrod Taylor came in the fourth quarter and ripped off a big run. Tannehill was able to get down. And like you said, Justin Fields is special with his legs, and that arm will develop. I have no doubt about it. Once the Chicago Bears decide to get him some more weapons or can keep a guy like Claypool healthy, because Claypool, last time we played Claypool, he had a big game against us with the Steelers. So maybe not the last time. I'm talking about the Nate Gary time. You know what I mean? But yeah, this Chicago Bears team is trying to become something, and they're just running into a team where we already are something. And so just got to handle business. This is the NFL. I just got done seeing the Colts put up 33-0 on the Vikings. I'm done watching that game. I look back, and the Viking fans, I had a tweet saying that the Vikings are getting dragged. Next thing you know, my tweet is getting dragged by Viking fans, but coming through there and saying, "Yeah, you thought we were gonna lose." So you never really know. It's any given Sunday.
Everybody thought that he was going to lose that game.
Yeah. Listen, Matt Ryan is tied to too many ugly comebacks. I'm sorry.
Yo, man. The worst. He got the worst in NFL history, period, and the worst in Super Bowl history.
Super Bowl history, yeah.
My thing is from now on. If Matt Ryan, he's not playing much longer, but here's the recipe to win with Ryan. If you get a 3-score lead, you got to sit him. I mean, it's ridiculous, but you got to sit him. He gets that 3-touchdown lead. Just go ahead and say, Matt Ryan, you did what you did. We can't allow it.
You did your job. Go sit your ass down.
Facts. Real quick,
though. It goes to show that it's really difficult to close out games. Like it is, like you don't like it's incredibly difficult when you build a lead that big and you still got half the game left to play. It's like you almost got to mercy roll teams now. Like you got to start shooting for 50 points on them. Like you have to mercy roll teams now in today's NFL.
Yeah, Carlos, shout out to him with the $5 super chat. He said 1, 2, 3 roots. Salute Mike and the fellas. We're gonna be up 425 to 6 at halftime. I don't know. So, maybe he meant to say 25-6 and that 4 slipped in there. But anyways, Jalen throws for 30. Oh, no. He went to 425. 32 touchdowns to start to sit the entire second half. But no, I will agree with him on this one real quick. Shout out to Carlos. He said, if the Colts only had to play 3 quarters, they might be undefeated. They played a heavy 3 quarters for a lot. Look, we beat them in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys beat them in the fourth quarter. The Vikings beat them in the fourth quarter. Many teams beat them in the fourth quarter, and that is with Saturday or whoever Frank Wright. So they got their own problems, but thank God we not Colt fans.
I mean, to think about it though, Mike, they beat Kansas City, to give them credit. They did beat Kansas City. They had us down, lost that game to us. They had Dallas. They were right up on Dallas too before Dallas pulled away in the fourth quarter. And then they had a 33-point lead on Minnesota before Minnesota came. Like it's like that team, man. That's tough to go back into the locker room and face that type of situation, man. I'm glad we ain't got that problem.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, I mean, we had our blunders with the. I remember what was that 2018 with the it was the Titans came back on 17, and then the Panthers came. I think it was back-to-back games. Gave up 17-point leads in the fourth quarter, but nothing like this. That is ridiculous, man. It's a reason why that's the biggest margin in the NFL, because it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you know the crazy thing is, and the crazy thing, and when in today's world, it's different, right? Think about it with social media, talking so much trash in front of millions of people as a fan, right? Like Colts fans who are on Twitter had to be tweeting like, dang, this is a wrap. If only we were this good the rest of the season and blah, blah, blah. Could you imagine? I do the live play-by-plays. Could you imagine me doing a live play-by-play, being up 33-0 at halftime, like relaxing on the stream, talking so much trash to sit there and watching the next 30 minutes of football. The script flipped so much. Like, I couldn't fathom being in that situation. And shout out to Bon M. He said his dad is a Colts fan. Hey, check on him. Definitely check on him.
I've never had a viral video, but I would be part of a viral clip if that happened. Because I would definitely there would be a viral moment there if I was watching a 33-point comeback. Like I'd be losing it, man. I would. Like, I can't, even like someone else was saying, like they felt like it was rigged. I don't feel like it's rigged, but I'm not going to sit here and act like the thought didn't run through my mind. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Yeah,
and then, I'll go a step farther with the comments that were made by Micah Parsons towards Jalen Hurts. Doesn't it feel like a little bit like, hey, let's create interest around the game even more? It feels weird to me, like the timing of it. Like, come on, man. I know Micah Parsons can't be that foolish. Like, I get that there's got to be some element to this is like, yo, if we don't get ourselves pumped up for this game, if we don't push all our chips in, this team's going to come into our home stadium, clinch the NFC East, and be crowned MVP in our stadium. So we might want to get up for this game, and I'm about to get your level up for this.
But Gates, when you look at it, when you look at it, it's always been like that. And for the most part, it's been on our side. Remember Doug Peterson? He guarantees a win against Dallas. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember Nick Sirianni last year? He wore the Dallas Week shirt. Didn't even know what Dallas Week was about. It was always something. And to tell you the truth, when we did those kind of things, we took an L. We took an L both times. So now the tables have turned.
Do you think it's planned? Do you think these things are planned out? Do you think that the NFL goes in with
probably not from the NFL, but I don't know. I don't know, but it is, to me, it's stupidity. Especially when you got a team like us that's just like it's so hard for a defensive coordinator to prepare for a team like us, and then you throw that on top of it. Like, what are you thinking?
And this game is Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. Everybody's eyes are on that game. Everybody's eyes are on that game.
On the game anyway, though. Like, no matter what.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, man. This kicked it up. A whole hell of a lot of notches.
And listen, to be honest,
the crazy part is, go ahead, man.
No, and to be honest, like, look, a lot of people are saying, like, why are Philly fans crying? Look, the fact of the matter is this: he does not have to think Jalen Hurts is the MVP. He could simply believe that, maybe a receiver deserved it, maybe a defensive player deserved it. He can say that Mahomes been balling out without Tyreek Hill. He can do that. That is perfectly fine. But the other pieces, the context behind all that, really trying to poo-poo and like say he don't have top 5 anything, really trying to, and again, he didn't physically say Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy, but he tried to string along this stuff. And Von Miller came out on the Pat McAfee show and pretty much said, like, yeah, he threw me in left field by that question. But the question was methodically thought up of by Micah Parsons, because the conversation before that viral clip 3 minutes or 4 minutes before is deeper, because he says, again, Von says the two front runners for MVP is Hurts and Mahomes. Michael rolls his eyes big time. That's just right there, shows without words. Then he decides to say, it's going to be hard for me to comment on this because I play him in 2 weeks. But then he starts saying that Jalen Hurts is not top 5 in any quarterback stat. Incorrect.
That was wild. That was wild, bro. And then he followed it up by saying, I know the game. And I was like, come on, man. I know you know the game because you're a professional at it, but you ain't put no time into that what you said.
Like right now, if you ask me what Dak Prescott's stats are, I might not be able to tell you, but I won't simply say that he's not doing anything right if I'm not 100% sure. So he said he's not top 5 in any category, which is incredibly wrong. He said that the Eagles defense deserves the MVP. He could have just said that the Eagles defense has helped out Hurts. And then he gets into saying, I got to call a spade, this, that, and the third. And here's the thing. He started talking about the Niners roster with Kittle and McCaffrey and the O-line and Trent Williams. And then he asked him. So he asked Von first. Hey, Von, Brock Purdy, is he the MVP or is he playing good because that team is so good? Vaughn says for Purdy, it's the team. When he said it's the team,
Mike, let's just let this sit in though. Okay. Tom Brady won his first MVP in what year? 2007. He was a 3-time Super Bowl by the time he won an MVP. And who was on that team? Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Randy Moss. Like, come on, man. He didn't win the MVP until Randy Moss got there. Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning didn't have Reggie Wayne. Peyton Manning didn't. Yeah. Like, come on, man. They were stacked.
Stacked teams are always. Listen, every MVP has a stacked team. But the last thing I want to say is this, though. So Michael Parsons,
Harrison and Wayne, like, come on, man.
Michael Parsons strategically said, "Okay, Vaughn. So you just said that the team is why Purdy's playing good for the Niners, and that's when the clip starts. So let's talk about the Eagles. Is it Jalen Hurts or the team?" But he set Vaughn up by saying, "Is it Purdy or the team?" Vaughn's like, "It's the team." Okay, is it Jalen Hurts or the team? And then Vaughn's like, "Oh, snap, you really going to do that?" I just called him the MVP alongside of Mahomes, and then that's when all that trickle-down effect and the viral piece and all that.
So on that topic, can you see a situation like there was in 2003 where Steve McNair, which, by the way, Derek Mason had a 1,300-yard receiving season that season. Let's call a spade here. You know, could you see that situation where you had Peyton Manning and you had Steve McNair splitting the award? Could you see that happening this year between Mahomes and Hurts?
I don't think we'll ever have a split anymore. I think that's too controversial nowadays. Like,
it's the ultimate cop out, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'd be upset. I'd rather just lose than split. Like, because when you split or something, that's going to be remembered. Like you don't forget that. And so I'd rather just take one on the chin and lose than split. But like I said, 2 weeks ago, I think it was 1A, 1B with Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. I just thought that Jalen Hurts in the last couple of weeks stepped up in front of him. But before Fresh goes real quick, Mr. Ronnie P with the $5 super chat. Don't think that was rigged, but definitely saw some fishy play calling up 14 with 5 minutes left, and you pass on first and second. Israel said, embrace the tank. Yeah, you do got to think of GMs saying, bro, we need a better draft pick. We need a better draft pick. So, I don't think coaches and players necessarily want to lose because they get the blame for it. It goes on Matt Ryan's record again. It goes on Jeff Saturday's record. But front offices want to tank. Players don't, but front offices do at times.
You saying how Roseman tanked in 2020?
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing.
Of course he did.
Yeah. Go ahead, Fresh. What is your take on the just the backlash of this whole week?
I mean, well, first I'm gonna comment on Jalen Hurts being the MVP, and when you look at the NFL quarterback statistics that he's number one in, and number two, just top five, and it's a lot. You know what I mean? And I always thought that when you have the best record for the most part, and you are balling out, that quarterback should have that MVP, especially when he is the reason that you won all of those games and not the reason that you lost the only game that you lost. And to me, I understand Mahomes has more throwing touchdowns than Jalen Hurts, but he also has 11 interceptions. That's a lot. That's a lot, especially when the guy that we're talking about only has 3 on the season.
Yeah,
we just seen Patrick Mahomes throw three interceptions in one game
against Denver, right?
That was my argument too, Reese, about Pat. My argument about Pat Mahomes was he's a phenomenal player and he's having a hell of a year without Tyreek Hill. There's no doubt about it. Not trying to take anything away from him, not trying to throw shade at him. But he has thrown away. He's thrown away 2 games. He has had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, that first game.
And been picked off in 2 games that sent them to L's. To me, that's not an MVP.
Right, and it's crazy. Like, you got guys like Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
When they lost to Denver, he talking about this makes me him more of an MVP. What? When we start doing they changed the goalposts for Philadelphia teams. Like, I don't get it. Like, even I don't want to switch subject, but it's Philly sports. Even with Embiid is putting up 50s, 40s, 30s, 36s. And he's
Talk
not
about it.
He's not
Talk
even
about it.
Nobody's talking about him for MVP. He's leading
He's
the
not,
league.
he's not even in the mention.
Not in nobody's sight. He's leading the league with 32.3 a game. Like, that is amazing, especially for a center. It's Philly sports. I don't know why they hate us. It's just if you play for Philly, you're going to get the end of the stick every time.
It's the truth. It's the truth. True.
All right. If y'all don't think this is true, everybody in the chat or y'all too, I think y'all believe me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But think about this. If Dallas had our record, they already get the number one spots every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Only time we get the number one spots is when Michael Parsons says something about us. We are the best team in football, and we don't get talked about till about the fifth segment. You got to talk about Dallas. You got to talk about Tom Brady bum ass. You got to talk about all these other teams before you get to us. And we are the best team in football. And to me, it's not close anymore. At first, I look at the Colts. I looked at you look at Buffalo. They had a showdown with Miami. I don't even know who won. I fell asleep. I ain't gonna lie.
Buffalo, game-winning drive for Allen.
He said I fell asleep.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
It got boring, but the game was boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. Then they talked about Miami. They're not there. Then they talked about the other AFC team, man, Cincinnati. It's just like when you look at these teams, nobody has been just straight on tunnel vision of winning but us. Consistent. It's not even a team that got 2 losses. Not even a team that only got 2 losses. We have 1, and then the next is 3. So to me, man, it's ridiculous it's really, really ridiculous how the national media looks at Philadelphia teams or Philadelphia players. Because if this is Patrick Mahomes, same record, same stats, yada, yada, yada. If this is Dak Prescott, same stats, same record, he would be the unanimous MVP. But you got dudes like, I can't even remember the reporter name, who's such of a hater. He's such of a freaking hater. When he came to the season, he said so many people was better than Jalen Hurts. He had
Chris Sims.
Yeah.
Chris Sims, yeah.
And now you don't want to come off of that, and you're still trying to say he's not MVP. That's freaking ridiculous, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to Steve Smith, because I watched it. I saw the thing going on Twitter, right? So the game's over, right? You know how they have the little booth, right? It's Colleen Wolfe, it's Steve Smith, it's Michael Robinson, and there's somebody else on there too, right? So Colleen said, could this have been Josh Allen's MVP moment? And Steve Smith says, hold up. Jalen Hurts didn't play yet. And then Michael Robinson said, all right. Then he tried to do the whole Chris Sims, Michael Parsons thing on national TV. Michael Robinson's like, look, the Eagles had they got top wide receiver duo, offensive line, defensive line, blah, 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 right? And he asked Steve Smith, he's like, if Josh Allen is not on the Buffalo Bills, that team is not good. If Jalen Hurts is not on the Eagles, are they still good? And Steve Smith said, nope. But you should have seen Michael Robinson's face, and he tried to explain a bunch of stuff. And Steve Smith's like, look, no matter how good your team is, if your quarterback is playing like a first grader, he's going to get first grade production. Jalen Hurts is a grown man, and he just started going off. And shout out to Steve Smith.
But you know what kills me, Mike, is I'm gonna keep going. Kurt Warner didn't have Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk.
There we go.
I mean,
that wasn't the greatest show on turf the year that he won MVP.
Every MVP got their guys, man. Like even even though I don't think he deserved it, in 2017, 2018, Tom Brady, he had a hell of a team, man. The Cooks had over 1,000 yards. You still had, I think he had Edelman and still had Amendola, and he had Gronk. So, and then their running game, I think was like number 2 in the league that year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when you look at it, yes, your team, you need help. Now, it's crazy how 1 week people say,
wait a minute, Reese, hang on. You're telling me you can't win MVP with Jalen Reagor at wide receiver?
Nah, I mean, Kirk Cousins ain't gonna do it. Kirk Cousins ain't gonna do it. But look, but when you look at it, it's crazy how the media just switches up and they don't even know that they be switching up, just saying anything. I don't think that it's too many teams and too many players to watch. I don't think that they watch 4 games of everybody. You get what I'm saying? Like they'll say something like, "Oh, Philadelphia, they can't stop the run, yada yada yada." But that was in the beginning of the season. When you look at it, we just faced.
They're just 3 weeks late on that.
Yeah, we just faced Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, and it was somebody in the middle of that. Oh, Derrick Henry. How about that? Do you know neither one of them had 100 yards? And when I say 100 yards, I mean combined. Combined. They didn't have 100 yards combined. So to me, it's like the media, you don't even know what the hell. I'll be wanting to debate them so freaking bad when they be talking crazy about it because y'all don't even know what y'all talking about, man.
Correct. Man. They think that they hold it because they got to watch it from, no pun intended, a bird's eye view, right? Because they got to cover all 32 teams. Mm-hmm. Yes, there was a large portion of the season where we were complaining about the run defense. But if you're sitting here in if you're sitting here as the the Eagles were coming into the Giants game and you're a national guy saying, well, the Eagles are going to get beat up by Saquon, or like I said, you got to update your resume. You got to update your research because teams don't stay stagnant. You still got to do this work. And sometimes when you talk so much, you forget some of the things you say. So it's, you just contradict yourself too much. I mean, I remember Stephen A. Smith talking about Jalen Reagor's going to step up for the Eagles. This was 2 weeks after we traded him to the Vikings. He was like, they got A.J. Brown, they got Devontae Smith, and I'm thinking that Reagor's going to have a breakout or a step-up season. And this was not the next day. It was 2 weeks after we traded Jalen Reagor. I'm like, Stephen A., we don't got Jalen Reagor no more. What are you talking about? So, again, they got to do so much. It's more what people watch that show for is, the hot takes and the back and forth and the rah-rah stuff. You're not really going to get the nitty-gritty from them shows, you know what I mean? Especially.
And he just said on Wednesday that he don't trust the defense. We got guys like Avonte Maddox out. Dude, he just came back last week. Like it's like, you don't just stop. Just stop it, man. Stop it.
Yeah. Back to this Bears game, though.
I forgot we was there for that.
We're back to this Bears game, though. Looking at it again, I think what we have to pay attention for is, yes, the tight end Clement or however you ever say his name, is pretty good. But again, I think that if there's a recipe for the Eagles to fall behind early, it's Justin Fields, the RPO, and David Montgomery running the ball. Even though we've been great against the run, maybe we're focusing a little too much and over preparing for Justin Fields, and the running back gets off on us. But again, in order for them to stay consistent with the run, they got to keep the game close. If the Eagles come out and do what we do in the first quarter or the second quarter, get into an early, 10-point, 14-point league, they got to abandon their thing. How do you feel about that? Like, what's the scenario besides just not playing our brand of football that the Bears really do come out and just ball on this defense?
Ball control. It'd have to be ball control. Your best defense is to keep Jalen Hurts on the sideline.
Yeah.
You don't want that offense to put you down double digits. That's really going to be the key to it. If I had to give one general concern, this is one thing I think the Eagles have struggled with at times. I do think that it's so tough, man, because we completely, absolutely shut down Derrick Henry. But when you go back to that Green Bay game, they were kind of getting us a little bit in the running game, if I'm going to be honest about that.
Dylan.
Situation there. Yeah. Dylan did. That's a bigger back. Montgomery is not quite Dylan, but he is a physical contact bounce back. I'm curious what they do. Do you stay dedicated to the run? Do you try to work off of RPOs with, trying to zone read us like that with, Montgomery, with Justin Fields? You don't really have anything at receiver to really scare us. I just got a feeling the Eagles are going to play 8 guys in the box today. I know I would. Yeah. I'm way more concerned about Fields beating us than I am any of their receivers. I'd probably play 8 in the box personally. If I get beat over the top, then hey man, all you can do is just clap up Fields because it had to be a heck of a play. Like,
yeah, by Fields and the receiver. And it's not likely to happen again and again and again. So I wouldn't even abandon it. Like, look, it is what it is. They throw a 40-yard touchdown pass over the top and Bradbury gets beat one-on-one. I'm still going right back to that play. Bradbury, you going one-on-one the very next time they got the ball, because I don't see that being a common scenario. You know what I mean? It happens once, cool. It is what it is. But shout out to Jamel Richardson with the $2 super chat, and he's speaking facts. Jalen Hurts, clear as the sky MVP. I'm with you on that.
Hey, you know how it goes, bro. Jalen, the system hurts, don't it?
Yeah. Love it. Jalen, the system hurts.
Don't it?
Don't it?
Exactly. You got to spike the ball on him.
Yeah, that's funny. That system thing is funny to me because it don't apply to nobody else. Like when Tom Brady first came into the game, he was a game manager. We're not going to sit here. When he won his first 2 Super Bowls, he was a game manager. It's nothing hating
defense,
about
right? That was a pretty damn good defense behind him, by the way. Pretty good running game. Yeah.
What?
Like, come on.
When they beat us, man, they had a hell of a defense. Like, they made McNabb look. I mean, they made him throw up. Like,
he about to throw up. Yo, you couldn't have called that segment better. You're like, he's about to throw.
I know. Hey, listen, man, I've been under the weather, man. I was in the hospital for a week actually.
Oh wow.
And the crazy part is I went in there because I messed up my foot. I came out with the flu, like with the flu and high high blood pressure. I'm like, how do I get worse going to that hospital? Like, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, so when we look at it, I mean, I know it's not really a lot to talk about with the Bears, but to me, you still got to make sure that if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you take care of business. And I'm not scared of that because of the fact of our leader, our quarterback. He just wants to take care of business. And I know he cannot wait for this game to get over so he can play dollars. He says it all the time. He keep receipts. He got mental notes in his head on what people been talking. And he's here to shut everybody up. And he's been doing everything right. I mean, literally everything. He's even taking the right sacks. It's like, all right, 3rd and 12. A guy's coming. I ain't even gonna take off. I'm gonna eat this one. I'm gonna bite this one. I know, and I trust that my defense is gonna get me back on the field. And I mean, the kid's mindset and what he's saying, and yes, the talent does help. But the leap that he took, Mike, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had us going like 14 and 3 or something like that. When I finally did the score, I just didn't think that these teams would be able to do anything with us. And it turns out
you might have an accurate prediction.
I mean, I could, but I don't see Dallas beating. I know a lot of people. I do not think.
No, I don't think the other 2 losses would come from Dallas. I think they would come opposite Dallas when we're just sitting everybody.
Yeah, but can you sit how many people?
You think we'll sit everybody for 2 weeks? And
I don't think they'll sit them for the entirety of the game, but I don't think they're going to play them the whole game.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot. Yeah, I don't think you can rest guys like that long. But
they did it. But to be fair, they did it in 2017, didn't they? I think they did it in 2004 too. They
just rested the last game, the Dallas game. That was it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do there. Do you risk injury when there's really nothing more to gain from it? You already locked up first round. You're not really chasing an undefeated season. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where you come off on that one. Like, to me, I put my guys in there. I treat it like preseason. I put my guys in there. I get them warmed up. I make sure they're executing.
I need you in there. Don't play the whole game. Yeah, don't play the whole game. I need you in there. Yeah. But like I was saying, go ahead with the super chat, Mike. I'll finish when you're done.
Nah, but this is actually interesting. I want to get all y'all takes on this. So Prince Neo 22 with the $2 super chat. He said, "Would you sign Tony Pollard over Miles in free agency?" Both being free agents.
I'm not signing another Dallas Cowboy straight again. I'm sorry. I mean, think about it. Every time they come over here, they are trash, especially on quarterback. Last time we did that was DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray, remember him?
Well, no,
Yeah, you can
Scandrick
have him
too. He
back.
was straight trash.
No,
Scandrick.
I meant running. I meant running back.
Oh,
I meant
running
running
back.
back. Just
Yeah.
running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, here's the thing: is I don't think it's going to get to that point. I got a feeling Dallas is far more likely to walk away from Zeke than they are Tony Pollard. Personally, I think that's what they would end up doing. Miles is a tough one, though, man. I get the general consensus of what you're saying here, Prince Neo. Which, by the way, shout out Prince Neo. He's like one of my first subs I ever had on YouTube. But I'll say this, man, is that I don't know what Miles Sanders' contract looks like, but it's starting to feel like something that might become a necessity to try to get worked out. And that's the tough thing is like I just don't know how to rate it because we're only talking about – here's the crazy thing. I can't even say we're talking about 1 year of production, right? Because he was there. He just didn't have the health to achieve what he achieved this year. If he had been healthy pretty much last year or the year prior and played every game, he was likely crossing 1,000 yards just giving his rushing numbers, what he was averaging per attempt. That's why, like, I know everyone's like, yo, Gate, you called that. You called that. I just did basic math and took my shot. I took my shot based upon basic math. Like, if this dude gets over 185 carries, he's going over 1,000 yards. Like, there's just no doubt about it. I don't know, Mike. I mean, I would like to have him back just because I do feel like there is something special between Miles Sanders and Jalen. I think those two together are incredibly difficult inside of that zone read. I think those two guys are incredibly difficult to defend in that. But everything has a price.
Correct.
Everything has a price. I'm for it until I hear a certain number. Then I'm like, whew. I mean, Hunt. There's some other dudes. I mean,
there's going to be a lot of free agent running backs, and my take on this is this. I'm not going to – listen, if Miles Sanders walks, it's because this is the amount of money we're going to pay and we're not going over it. So if Tony Pollard – my thing is this. If you're telling me they both will take this much money, I'm taking Miles over Pollard. Yes, Pollard runs tough. Now, again, if you're saying Pollard will take a cheaper payment than Miles, then that factors into who else in free agency can we get. But if you're telling me they're both the same dollar, I'm taking Miles. Again, Gate was right. Anytime, it's always been two words, health and opportunities. And he said it, he's gotten it, and it's paid off. Real quick, Dank Burrito with the $5 super chat. Kurt Warner said he was called a system guy too. He also said he sit Micah down and asked what throws from Jalen are because of the system. Exactly. The actual throw that the ball that leaves his hand is not leaving any better because of what Kelsey did or because of the route ran.
Well, I mean,
if a guy's wide open, a guy's wide open or a guy's got him on his hip, the ball placement is the ball placement. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts' rookie season, the problem with Jalen Hurts is he wasn't a system guy. He was playing outside the structure of the offense. He was playing off schedule. So now that he's playing on schedule within the structure of the offense, now he's being backhanded complimented as being just a system guy. And it's like, well, come stop the system. Come stop the system then. Because
and that's the biggest thing, right? Because this is how Chris Sims worded it real quick. Chris Sims worded it like this. Jalen Hurts couldn't even play Nick Sirianni's system, so they had to implement a system that Nick Sirianni never did. I said, okay, how do you even hear that as an insult? For the simple fact that you're saying that a coach who never did this system is running it because of Jalen Hurts, and it's the best system in the NFL, most points per game, top 5 in yards per game, this, that, and the third. So the coach didn't know how to run the system. He's doing it for Jalen, and it's the most successful system in 2022. Like, I don't even understand that. You're saying he's limited, that he can only run system. Well, guess what? Until you can stop the system, there's no need to try to play West Coast or vertical or this, that, and the third. We gonna run the Jalen system.
I was so tempted to launch a merch line. I was so tempted to do this upcoming week. I was about to create a merch line where I was going to make a blue T-shirt that said Aikman is a system quarterback. I was so tempted to do it just to troll. I was so tempted to do it, bro, just to troll. But then I was like, I'm not going to do that to my boy Jay Tuck because we going live together next weekend.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it. But I felt like doing it just to troll.
Hey, I ain't mad. Jung Money with the $2 super chat. We'll let Fresh go first. Scale 1 to 10. Do we have on a dynasty potential? Scale from 1 to 10. Fresh, what is your take? Where you ranking a potential Eagles dynasty from 1 to 10?
You got to at least win one Super Bowl to ask that question. I'm sorry. I love the question. I get it, but I don't know what this team is going to look like. We got to understand we got so many 1-year contracts. It's like 2017 kind of like, and everything is meshing, everything is coming together. If you would have asked me that question in 2016, 2017, 2018, I'd have probably told you, yeah, look at what the hell we got going on here. But then I got to look at the business aspect of things. I got to look at our GM, Howie Roseman, who is always trying to save a dollar. You know what I mean? So he's trying to figure it out on bringing new players in and saying it ain't the players, it's us and who we put there and yada yada yada. As long as his offensive line and defensive line is stacked, we should be good. That's how their mindset is. Now they have been better at bringing in talent. You see what they just did with draft. Even though you draft the Rhaegar, you double down in the first round and you draft Devontae Smith. You get AJ Brown. I don't know what the hell the Titans was thinking, but thank you. So
sorry, GM, for the Titans, you got fired.
To me, I don't even think that if it's not a home deal, Howie Roseman is not even going to sneeze at a contract of Miles Sanders. He's not giving Miles Sanders top 5 running back money. Period. That's not happening. I love what Miles Sanders has been doing, but let's keep it fair. Let's keep it tall like City Hall. This has been 1 year out of his contract that he's been performing like this. Now, his rookie year, he was a shit too. But like this, it's been 1 year. So Howie Roseman got to take all of that into consideration when you look at it. Not just year, but also the 2 before that also. So, and to me, that's fair. That's fair. I can't just give you money off of 1 year. And I seen what you did 2 years before that. I seen how many times you put the ball on the ground 2 years before that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I look at it differently when talking about a dynasty. If these are all young contracts and these are all young guys and you just sprinkled in, like, if you just sprinkled in the Josephs of the world and the Sues, but we're talking about other guys too. We're talking about Fletcher Cox on a 1 year deal.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about Hargrave on his last year of his deal. You know what I mean? Like Brandon Graham. Who knows what they're going to do with Brandon? It's so many things that we're probably going to have to reevaluate and refill after we win the Super Bowl this year. Because I think that we win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, yeah, and that's where I start. I can only go as high as 5 in the middle because dynasties are hard as heck. We only seen a couple to even in the whole grand scheme of the thing, and it starts with winning the Super Bowl and then recuperating or keeping the same guys and continuing to build. So the highest I can go is a 5 because the task ain't even complete yet this year. And as Fresh said, there's a lot of guys we got to get. Sater's, really maybe 7 super important people, 7 or 8 or 9 important people. You might only get 4 or 5 of them back, 4 at the most, maybe. So you got to pick and choose, and it's going to be tough. But real quick, let's get these couple of super chats out. Delonte Shingler with the $2 super sticker. He said one up. Go ahead.
And might not gonna lie to you, most of them is on the defense. I mean, you got Bradbury, C.D. Gardner Johnson, the defensive linemen I just named, Kaiser White,
Edwards.
That's like, and Epps been balling. Yo, don't say he was putting. Where he get that from? When he start hitting like that? Like,
he does. He hit.
He's been good in the box all year. He just coverage has been.
I'm talking about laying the lumber down. He's been laying the lumber down, man.
Yeah, he's been one of the higher graded box safeties on the year, to be honest.
Yeah, he's definitely he's definitely hit. And listen, that hit against Treylon Burks, I think it was actually more clean. It just was really hard. It wasn't like helmet to helmet. It was shoulder, but it was hard.
I think it was clean.
Yeah.
Epic Adventures.
So can I ask you a question before?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. My bad, Mike. Go.
Nah, just Epic Adventures with the $5 super chat. Nah, yeah, you got it. You got it.
I just wanted to ask real fast how y'all feel. We only bring it in 2 safeties. Now that we've talked, there's only 2 safeties getting dressed today. Mike Epps and Kayvon Wallace. Now they brought in Anthony Harris, but I don't know.
He's still in the squad, yeah.
Really,
what about Shaq Tashere?
If one of them go down, we're done.
Josiah Scott can play
I'm
safety.
pretty sure Josiah Scott's going to play over the top as a coverage safety, to be honest.
He did a little bit against the Giants. He was playing safety a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, do we have anyone outside of Josiah Scott that has any experience doing it, though? And I don't know that we do. Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to move your starter.
You're not going to mix that up.
I don't know, man.
I mean, probably going to play a lot of
Actually, Kaiser White's been a box safety before.
I just get it.
Kaiser White was a box safety. He was a rover.
Yeah.
He played the rover in the star role at West Virginia. Obviously, that's not going to be a true safety in the NFL sense, but you could do some things out of 3 linebacker set. That could be Nakobe Dean might be getting some shake because they might need to do some interesting things with Kaiser White off of that. That is a possibility.
And it's tough. But Epic Adventures with the $5 super chat is Jalen Hurts not the most improved player in the NFL? Haters will hate. Hurts is definitely the MVP. Shout out to all my Eagle fans and Eagle Nation. Epic Adventures. Listen, someone can literally win both awards as the most improved player and the best player in the NFL. And listen, I'm ready for something to be like that has never been done for sure. And he got a value point on both of them. Shout out to Dennis Smith, a Cowboy fan. He said, Mike, love your channel. I'm a Cowboys fan, but the rivalry aside, the Eagles are scary, and you have my respect. Hey, shout out to you, Dennis. And look, we're going to have a long week of back and forth. We'll have some Cowboy people on the channel. We'll do as many round tables as we can. It should be very interesting. I think there's one more super chat. Shout out to Slick Bundles with the $5 super chat. Matt Stafford was praised after he finally got a good team and won. Now with Jalen, it's the system. Shaking my head, make it make sense. Love you guys. Agreed, right? Puts up stats, no wins, gets a Super Bowl roster, wins the Super Bowl. Oh, he's definitely in the top 7, top 8 now, and he's a really good player. Again, Slick Bundles, great point. And Gates been dropping them all stream.
Because Matthew Stafford wasn't throwing to Calvin Johnson.
Exactly, right? But every MVP has had a great supporting cast. They always have. Listen, the greatest show on turf. Peyton Manning was throwing to 2 Hall of Famers. Tom Brady, perfect thing. Tom Brady was a Super Bowl winner, but not worthy of the MVP for multiple years until he got Randy Moss, a top 3 wide receiver in the game, period. With Bill Belichick and this, that, and the third, and he won the MVP.
And let's not forget the last 2 MVPs went to who that lost who? That'll be Aaron Rodgers that lost to me the best wide receiver in the game and Devontae Adams.
And then what happened?
No, he's not even in the MVP, not at all.
Yeah.
not at all.
All right, so listen, we got 511 people watching. Shout out to Eagle Nation. We are live on 3 channels, the Philly Talk Podcast, Gate City Sports Channel, and Philly Fresh's channel. Make sure you hit that like button wherever you're watching it. Make sure you also check out everybody else on the panel. We all drop Eagles content different times of the day, different topics, sometimes the same, but we cover the Eagles. We do this every week before the game, except for last week. A little busyness came through, but this is what we do. Show love to all the Eagle content creators on here. The names are right there to the side of us. But it's about that time to do our, score predictions, offense and defensive player of the game versus the Bears. If you don't mind, I want to go first because I might have to get up out of here a little quicker. I'm gonna let y'all rock the stream out without me, and I'll be listening because I gotta make one run before the game, and I can always end it when y'all done through the StreamYard phone thing. And I'll be listening to y'all backstage because I don't want to crash. That being said, and I don't get to go first often because y'all be stealing my guys. Defensively, I think that they're going to try to run on us, so I want to go defensive line. I don't think there's going to be multiple opportunities for a pick. Actually, no, I'm not going to go defensive line. I'm going to go linebacker. I got TJ Edwards continuing to be the first one to the ball and stopping the run. I think he's going to be important, not just to stop David Montgomery, but to be a spy and be on lookout for Justin Fields. I like to see him shoot some gaps and make some big-time tackles. So I got TJ Edwards on the defensive side. And on the offensive side, we didn't really talk about this, but the Bears, as much as they give up 4.8 yards to carry on the ground, they allow receivers to get their quarterback over 100 rating each time they target him. So I'm playing against LB. He got AJ Brown. I'm gonna need Devontae Smith to go off. He doesn't like the cold. I saw my man have the biggest hoodie I ever seen in my life that stretched over his helmet. But it's Devontae Smith's game on the offensive side, and it's also because I don't want LB to beat me. And he got AJ Brown. I can't let him go off. So I got that, and I got the Eagles dropping 31-17. That's my score prediction.
All right, Mike, one more time. Offensive, defensive player, so I can keep track.
TJ Edwards defense, Devontae Smith offense.
Got you. All right, Reese, you want to go second since I went first last time?
Yeah, I go second. I want to go with a linebacker so bad in this one. I wanted to go Kaiser White, but Mike took a linebacker.
I was thinking Kaiser White too, but I went TJ Edwards. So, I just wanted to say that real quick. I was thinking Kaiser White too.
4 games. Y'all can hear me?
You're breaking in and out, but I can hear you.
We good?
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Give me a thumbs up. Y'all can hear me. Y'all give me a thumbs up. Damn. Yeah, Mike did some voodoo on his drum before you like, what the hell going on?
He can hear you.
Chat not
We all
I
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Can you hear us?
He can't hear us. We hear you.
Mike.
What? We can hear you.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you hear
all right.
us?
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right. I'm going again.
I'm
Hopefully
just making I'm making sure.
All right, you're good. Ready? I'm leaving. Let's see. All right,
Yo,
go ahead.
let's just get rid of this. Let's just hurry up and get through this draw. All right. So I got Josh Sweat. I've been critical of the guy for half of the season. You know what I mean? But I think that he's coming along and he's getting into his zone for defense.
Yes.
Offense, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna go a little bit left. I'm gonna go with our tight end, Calcaterra, man. I think that he is turning into a weapon. You know what I mean? When No Dallas got it, this is probably gonna be the last time that he get as much time as he's getting. They're starting to implement him more. I think he gets a touchdown today. Calcaterra is my offensive guy. Score prediction, I got it 33-10, and that's it.
I want to make sure I don't duplicate. Who did you take for defense?
Josh Sweat.
All right. So we got a linebacker at the end. I don't even think they're really going to throw the ball today, man. This is killing me about the secondary. All right. I'm going Epps. Then I'm going to go Epps. I'm going to bring Epps into the box.
Yeah.
Epps coming up to play the run.
Yeah, that's why I ain't going no corner.
Yeah.
They ain't throw the ball.
Yeah, I'm going to go Epps since Mike went linebacker, you went D-line. I'm going to go Epps. Offensively, you went Calcaterra, man. That's a good one. That's a good surprise pick.
Yeah, I think he scores his first touchdown today.
Man, I can't. Sanders had such a big game last game. Man, Mike took Devontae. Goddard's not in the game. We can't take Hurts. That was our rule to begin the season. We can't take Hurts. All right. Oh man, AJ Brown. So I was really his left. Is AJ Brown? It's on his left. It's the only guy that's left. Unless I keep saying
like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I play in the other. Yeah, I play Mike in the other. In his league, I play Mike in his league today. I don't know what he's doing. But yeah, man. I mean, to me, anything else you want to hit on that? Anything else you want to hit on? This could be the end of the show. Just what if everybody could, drop your location, not your location, but let us know where you watching this from. I know we got Eagles fans and BBP fans all across the world. You know what I mean? So just let us know where y'all watching from, man.
All right, let's while we're waiting for them to tell us that, let's go back into that safety conversation. I think that's a fascinating conversation, right? Because of the contract situation. The two guys we got starting,
right,
both are going to need contracts. That's the situation. Would you, knowing everyone else that's got to be signed, I got a feeling that what it's going to cost to get Gardner Johnson under a contract will be quite expensive. But we were willing to give away pretty much almost $20 million a year. We were willing to do it this offseason. Yeah. Would you go after Gardner Johnson with that level of aggression? in the contract?
I don't know. I don't know. The first thing I'm looking at is I know Hurts. See, what's killing me is that Hurts can't sign until what is it? March or something.
Mm-hmm.
He can't. He is the rules of it is he
Until
can't
the
sign
league
until
calendar
March.
year starts, basically.
That doesn't mean that they can't negotiate anything and just not put it on paper. So to me, that's the first thing that I'm trying to do is lock up the quarterback. You know what I mean? And then everything else falls in line. 20 million.
And at least Jalen's contract, theoretically, Jalen's contract should really hurt you in 23. 24 is when you kick in.
You said what?
No, I was saying that at least Jalen Hurts' contract really wouldn't get you in 23. It really would kick in 24 is when you'd start to feel the effects of the quarterback contract. So at least getting him worked out wouldn't necessarily take away from what you want to do in 23. But I mean, that is an interesting conversation, isn't it, around Gardner Johnson? We know he's a good player, and we know that dude makes the defense better. But it's like we still got to get, are we bringing Epps back? How confident are we on Reed Blankenship? I mean, I thought the young man played really well given the opportunities, but there's a difference between looking good in 2 games and looking good over the course of the entire season.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm looking at. I'm playing Bradbury before I play CJ Gardner Johnson. The outside is so important in today's game, and if you have 2 corners, you can do so many other things in the middle of the field with just not just regular guys, but guys like you said, like a Reed Blankenship. You have guys that can be serviceable. I mean, for real, since CJ Gardner been down, we haven't had really any drop off. And I'm not saying that CJ Gardner isn't deserving. I'm not saying that CJ Gardner isn't better.
He's a baller. He's a baller.
Yeah, he's a baller. But he also has, and I said this about 3 games ago on our pregame, he has been a product of being in the right spot at the right time. A lot of his interceptions has been tips.
Yeah, but to be fair, some of that is his anticipation and eye work.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's not like other guys can't do that. To me, what Bradbury does is so much more important. He's one-on-one with the guy and locks him down. You get what I'm saying? So if you have 2 lockdown corners, it's so better for your defense, especially your defensive line, because they can go eat. He looks at one receiver. He looks at the second receiver. Oh, they lock. Damn. A third read. I sweat Hargrave or whatever kind of guys is right there. You know what I mean? So to me, if I'm trying to sign anybody, it got to be Bradbury first.
Does Bradbury's age concern you, though? Because we're talking about a physical corner who is over 30, and when those legs give out, it tends to be a very drastic drop-off once that happens. I can see both sides of that argument, right? One side being that because he's a physical guy, it's more about technique than foot speed with him. But, maybe that concerns a little bit more with Slade than it is actually with a guy like Bradbury. But at the same time, how it is, man, at corner, bro. Once them legs are gone and it's not the same, it's a drastic downhill progression from that point.
Yeah, I mean, age always scares you. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't lock him up to nothing really long term, not no 4-year. I'd probably give him a 3-year deal. And I know how he works. He pushes a lot of the money, especially if he's working out other deals, start pushing stuff to the back and yada, 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 however he does it. But yes, Journey, I do have a channel. All you got to do is put in Philly Fresh. You put him up there, you're going to see this pretty face right here. All right. Back to what I was saying. So when you look at the situation of Bradbury, it's just like I trust him more. You know what I mean? And I think he's going to have to he's going to have to find some corners in the draft. It gotta either be this draft or next draft, because Darius Slay's no spring chicken either. You know what I mean? So we understand that we had probably the oldest duo but we probably got the best right now.
What would you see? This is a crazy conversation, right? Is that we have veterans along the D line, veterans inside of the secondary, and younger guys at safety, but dudes that are probably, I think Epps could be affordable, but I do think Gardner Johnson is probably one of the top 10 contracts at that position post this season, just based upon what he gave you in production. That's a tough conversation, man, because like you're not gonna you can't be right about everything as a front office, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a tough one, man. We even got into the fact that Kaiser, well, you did kind of talk about Kaiser White's a free agent, TJ Edwards is a free agent. Like, I don't know how you identify. Like, for me, I kind of want to say, like, if you got young veteran guys, when I say veteran, meaning they're coming up on like what would be a second contract and not like a third contract, like not like BG and those type of dudes. But when you got young guys that are coming up on the second contract, I mean, I think I would give priority there personally, if I could. So like to the TJ Edwards of the world, to, you know what I mean? Like, if you can get something worked out with Epps, if you can get something worked out with CJ Gardner Johnson, I probably would go there. And then I think you have to pick your veteran. Who's the veteran? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it BG? Is it Hargrave? Is it Fletch? You know, is it Bradbury? Like, you have to pick what veteran it's going to be. You probably can maybe land two of those guys. It's tough, man, because like, I don't want to rule Howie out, bro. Howie knows how to work magic, man. There's something about how he knows how to work that magic. And I know there's two contracts that I'm pretty sure they're going to rework in the offseason that's going to free up cap space. I just don't know how much space will be created off of it.
So who would contract?
Who do I think will be the contracts? In my opinion, the first contract you're going to see that gets restructured will probably be Lane.
Yeah.
I think Lane's going to get his 2023 figure is going to get reworked, in my opinion, just because of how massive that figure is. And then Darius Slay will have his 23 figure reworked too. Some of these guys have already reworked their deals in 22, but you're going to see that where they're going to pay him out. They're going to pay them money and say, look, we're going to prorate this into a bonus.
Right.
We're going to take some of your base salary, prorate that into bonus money. You're going to get the money up front. We'll pay it back in increments to the league. So I think that's the first thing they're going to do in terms of like making, it'll be those two guys. You'll see them rework those 23 figures. They'll probably roll over whatever cap they got left over from the 22 season. Reese, they'll probably go ahead and defer that onto the 23 season. So they'll save a little money there. Then you got to sign your guys, man. You know, you got 2 first-round picks. That's you know, those are expensive. You got a second-round pick. You know, you got to get those contracts under deals as well. I'm curious, man. Like, I would think that they were absolutely going defensive line at some point in the first round. That one seems like probably a very obvious one to me. That yes, we got Sweat. Yes, we got Hassan. Right. Yes, we just drafted Milton Williams. We just drafted, you know,
you can use.
Jordan Davis.
You can use that. You can use that fourth. You can use that. You can use that fourth pick and get one of those guys from Alabama. What is his name? Anderson or something like that.
Yeah.
I think his name Anderson. That dude. Oh my goodness! You put him with this defensive line. Wow, but do you want to use that fourth pick on him? You know what I mean? Like, to me, he's worth it. I don't know how he envisions him worth it. That dude is a beast, man. He is a problem. He is a problem. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at looking at defensive line.
I think if I were the Eagles and I'm looking at this, I would be trying to get an answer at corner post Bradbury and Slay. You have to have answers there. Because like you were pointing out, the reason you want to maintain Bradbury is that you know what this defense is if it is not comfortable with the corners. It is soft coverage, 8-yard cushions, every quarterback checking the ball down on you and driving the football and you hoping you can turn them over in the red zone or hold them to a field goal. That's what the system is. So you got to have those dudes at corner. And I completely understand the thought process to say like, hey, man, Bradbury's still pretty good. You know, the Giants – I don't think the Giants party was. Oh,
hey,
God.
Mike, you ain't. I was going to bring it up. I was going to say something. Well, Mike, you ain't.
Come on. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that, man. You're going to have Philly.
But in all fairness, I kind of feel bad for him this year because he probably could have had a good year, man. Being in the rotation, and he probably could have had a good year. That's your boy, Gabe.
I hate
That's
to
really
say
your
it.
boy.
I hate to say what like Yayo. I get the humor in what he's saying, but it ain't ridiculous to think that they might try to rework something out with him for the death. It ain't ridiculous to suggest
I
that,
mean,
honestly.
they did it this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not ridiculous to think that they might do
that.
But,
Hey, Gates, is he going to be the first guy to go in the first round, not get signed to a second contract, and then get a veteran's minimum?
yo, Reese, that might be factual, bro. You might be spitting facts right now, Reese. You might be spitting actual facts. That is very likely to happen, bro. Yeah.
But that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that could happen.
He gonna get the veteran. He gonna earn him at this.
But it could happen.
They can't.
Very well
they
happen.
can't.
I think Reese froze up, guys. But no, I mean, to be real about the situation, guys, it could be a likely outcome that they want to look at this thing before the draft and say, we don't want to head into the draft with very obvious needs. And Derek Barnett gives you some sort of security there. It's possible, man. I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it, but I don't think Yayo's talking crazy, bro. I think it's humorous. I think he's trying to be humorous. And I think he's right, but I don't think it's good. Look at Mike. Here come Mike. We say Derek Barnett. Mike's up here.
Nah, but for real though, like I agree with Fresh in the sense that think about how good this D line is. Number 1 in sacks with Reddick and all these guys in the rotation. I think Derek Barnett could have had like a little 3 or 4 piece at this time already, so he could have been a rotational piece for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, hey, Mike, what you think about this though? Mike, what you think about this? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What you think about Derek Barnett being the first guy taken in the first round to not get a second-year contract and then get the veteran minimum?
That'd be wild. But the only reason I don't think that could actually happen is because there's 31 teams that will be desperate enough to get a pass rusher that has potential. You can still sell his potential.
But did he do anything to earn a contract that he didn't do last year, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, listen, it's not going to be easy having the stats he had last year and then coming off of ACL. So
yeah, exactly.
He might have to sign at least a veteran minimum 1-year deal to then hopefully prove something to get a contract somewhere else. So you might be right about that.
Yeah. Hey, Dave Dustin, you got that fire hoodie.
I just thought it was funny to have a guy had a veteran minimum contract at 26 years old.
It's very likely to happen, Reese. Like I know, like it's funny, but like you might be on to something. You might really be on to something.
That's
like that is potentially like something that could happen. Yep.
I mean, if he signed with the Eagles, I think that's what Hobby would do. I mean, Hobby all about saving money. If it's a way to save money, I don't know, but I do got to get out of here. Got to set up for the game. Shit. Man, I ain't even know 12:40. Listen, man, come through halftime. Philly Fresh is the channel. We're gonna talk live. Hopefully we be up by 20 or something like that. So we'll have a good live, a good talk. You know, we don't like to do things like that. Come through, come holler at your boy, man. And also, I don't know if we're doing post game. I got to talk to the guys, but if we are, just make sure y'all got notification on. I know my guy Gate City, he puts up a lot of content, man, cerebral stuff. So make sure y'all got your notifications on the button and the subscribe button if you have not done that on all 3 channels. Appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, y'all, we appreciate y'all so much. Mike,
Sign
us out, bro.
Hit the button.